Forgiveness. Aita channeling her higher self. July of 2020. Good, beautiful and bright day to you, dear Lightworkers, star seeds. A day that is dawning with life and love and opportunities anew. And what gives us this opportunity, this new and wonderful life? What moves us out of the third dimensional fear entrainment to the world of fifth dimensional love? It is forgiveness. Forgiveness is leaving the past behind. Forgiveness is knowing that nothing wrong ever happened. Forgiveness is knowing that all that has happened is good and according to the Planet Earth Training Simulator program. All the experiences of our Planet Earth life, preferred and not preferred, were for our learning greater love. Yes, they were difficult at the time. We often felt we were victims. We felt put upon, abandoned, and rejected. We were hurt by what we felt were the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. When we lost loved ones, or property, or income, we felt life was so unfair. When we were judged by our peers, when jealousy and greed were felt and used against us, we were in pain. When lovers walked out on us and our children rejected us, we felt abandoned, alone, and lost. We flailed about in our misery. We hurt so much that we did all we could to alleviate that pain. We turned to alcohol, drugs, food, gambling, shopping, religious dogma, any habit that would distract us from the feeling of guilt and shame, any habit that would distract us from the aching hurt inside. And all this was as it should be, for this is what the Planet Earth adventure is all about. We are particles of divine essence, drops of God, fragments of the magnetic electricity that is God. We are here on planet Earth individuating our personalities, finding ourselves and refining our values and our holy strengths. Without the contrast of the dark, without the contrast of the pain, how do we know who and what we are? We do not. In heavenly bliss and knowingness of our loving nature, there was no defining individuality to us. We were all the same. One was no different from the other. We were a part of that smooth flow of electricity that is God. Now, having been through many, many lives on planet Earth, we have had many wonderful and many difficult and seemingly unfair experiences. We have been hurt and shamed and guilted, and we have hurt and shamed and guilted others. We came from naivete, ignorance, illiteracy, to comprehension, wisdom and discernment. Having lived on planet Earth for eons, having sifted and sorted what we prefer and don't prefer, having experienced love and hate, ignorance and discernment, shame and pride, guilt and love, sadness and happiness, depression and joy, we found that we preferred the positive. We preferred love. We loved love. And with that, we had wisdom. We had the wisdom to see what behavior from us and from those around us made us happy. We found what pleased us. We realized how we preferred to spend our time. We sifted and sorted negative and positive experiences. We discovered what we were good at and where our talents, preferences, and abilities lay. This is all so wonderful, for now we are leaving our third dimensional entrainment, our negative programming behind. That programming served us well, and we are most appreciative and thankful for it. But now is the time for forgiveness. Forgiveness is the necessary element of ascension. It is what we are here to do. Forgiveness is never thinking or talking about what we perceive to be negative events in our past again. When Jesus was asked, how often should we forgive? He replied, I do not say 7 times, but 77 times. It is time to leave behind our stories, to leave behind the many resentments and perceived injustices. Forgiveness is not an instant event. Forgiveness is an ongoing process that occurs 77 times and more. Our thinking is entrained to go back to injustices and perceived hurts. We are apt to blame and shame others in our thoughts, and our thoughts take on the groove of familiarity. So true forgiveness is never thinking or talking about our painful history again. Each time a thought of what was done to us comes up, we need to forgive it. That is, we need to let that thought go. Realize that the event upon which we have looked so negatively was in fact positive, for we learned we did not prefer it. We found that life was happening for us and not to us. We attracted all the events that happened to us, both negative and positive, by our entrained thinking for the purpose of learning. Now it is time to let go of that thinking and forgive everything that has ever happened. Only then can our mind be free to live in the now. Only then can we truly live in the 5th dimension of love. Forgive everything. Forgive 77 times 7 and more. Each day is a day of forgiveness, of letting go of any negative thought, any resentment and judgment, guilt, shame, or blame that comes to mind. Yes, forgiveness is an ongoing process. Dear Lightworkers, starseeds, you are in that process now, and you are doing beautifully. You are doing very well indeed. Just be, just breathe, just be the love that you inherently are. You have been through the educational mill of the planet Earth experience. You have felt much that you did not prefer. You have perceived that the world and your brethren were against you, that fate was unkind and unfair. Now you have the wisdom and discernment to know better. You cannot live in the holy now moment until you have forgiven and forgotten all the perceptively negative events, until you realize there are no accidents, and in the end, all that happened to you was for the good and advancement and freeing of your soul's intuition. The holding of grievances is the only block to love. Let go every day. Forgive every hurtful and negative thought. Love, love, love is what we are. And now with forgiveness, we live in that love and joy vibration. That was Aita channeling her higher self. We are blessed beings indeed.